Welcome to Curriculum Hotspot LS15. This is part of the Molecules to Organisms, Structures and Processes. A lot of this was covered in our first quarter. This one, however, is put into photosynthesis, which is covered in lesson 2.3. For this standard, we'll be focusing on the cross-cutting concept 4, where we use systems and models. In this example, we will be using some sort of model to illustrate photosynthesis transforming light energy into chemical energy. And so this is probably the first time that students have really focused on that part of the equation where we're taking light energy and making a chemical energy. As we get more into this, we should keep in mind that the kids probably have a good understanding of the whole input-output. They've been doing that since 3rd grade. However, as we've all seen many times with our curriculum, they're probably going to need a little refresher. So reviewing that equation, making sure they work with that can be a model, writing the equation. They could even use pictures, do a little art integration with that in order to help illustrate the inputs and outputs. And as they do, make sure that they mark on there somewhere light energy into chemical energy. One of the things that is also maybe new to students is that it's not only plants that do photosynthesis. So that can occur in things such as algae, euglena, cyanobacteria, even purple sulfur bacteria do a different type of photosynthesis. So those should be touched on, but they don't need to know the specifics of that, just that it does occur in some other things. Another thing that is sometimes confusing is that plants and algae are considered different. Plants being a vascular, multicellular organism, algae being single. They do not need to know all the specifics. This is for AP Bio, not for Honors and Standard Bio. And in addition, they don't need to be memorizing the structures of a euglena or any of the other photosynthetic organisms. In fact, they don't even need to know all the other photosynthetic organisms. They don't need to be focused only on plants anymore. They can understand that photosynthesis does occur in other organisms. For the phenomenon here, you can show pictures of a tree, perhaps euglena, algae, plant, and just get them discussing what they know about photosynthesis. There's also a really good TED Ed video that you can watch, and keep in mind that arts integration. As they're doing all this, have them write equations, have them write pictures, really bring this in and make it something that they're going to remember. So far, they have created a model using the equation for photosynthesis. Maybe they've added pictures. Remember, they've added that light energy to chemical energy component as well. Now they're ready to go over to use the microscopes where they can actually make some observations. Those should also be added into their model, and they can see either in Eladia, they can see the chloroplast. If you ordered euglena, they can see the chloroplast in the euglena. And this is usually really exciting for kids. It also gives them an opportunity to get up and share their ideas with their friends as they're in lab. This is an excellent opportunity for students to learn those transportable skills, those lab skills that will help them to critically think and analyze. For this lab, it involves using Eladia and live snails. And keep in mind that bromothymol blue irritates mucous membranes, so safety for the students, but also consider that you are dealing with snails which do have mucous membranes. So you may want to make a weaker solution of bromothymol blue. But again, this is a great lab, a lot of fun for students, and it is linked directly in the curriculum. This lesson is an awesome opportunity to incorporate the labs, which we all know are really important for our students. And it also gives us an opportunity to revisit some of the topics we've talked about before. Back in biological molecules, we talked about how glucose was sort of a building block that we could make lipids and proteins and nucleic acids from. And just remind them, our whole bodies, this is the unit of structure and function, our whole bodies are relying on this process of photosynthesis to take that carbon and fix it into an organic molecule from which all other biological molecules can be made. So have the students, maybe they can do that on their own, maybe you can guide them there, but have them make sure that they bring back together a lot of the other stuff that they've learned throughout this year so far.